Stephen A., what move should Jerry West make right out of the gate?
He should trade Blake Griffin, quick, fast, and in a hurry. It's not to knock Blake Griffin. It's because he has value. He's a 20-10 dude. He's a guy that can go to any market, and he's going to be a name. He's going to be significant. He's going to matter. And more importantly, he's the attractable commodity that can get you the player that you want. If I'm Jerry West, I'm trying to trade Blake Griffin to Indiana for Paul George. If I'm Blake Griffin, if I'm Jerry West, rather, I'm entertaining trading Blake Griffin for Carmelo Anthony to the Clippers, even though that may not be necessary, because to repeat what I'm hearing, the New York Knicks are talking about buying him out, and that would free Carmelo Anthony up to go and
I've already given up my Knicks fandom. Okay. Is there anything else I can do?
I'm just telling you.
I doubly renounce the Knicks.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're talking about right now, so we'll see if that happens. In the end, what it comes down to is this. You have to look at it from this perspective. Jerry West is coming in there. He's one of the architects for the Golden State Warriors, okay? His mentality is that he did a lot, he did a lot of good things. He helped them do a lot of good things. Being back in Los Angeles is very, very odd for him. I'm not going to get into everything that we discussed, but, he and I, so everybody saw us talking at the NBA Finals. We talked for a lengthy period of time at the NBA Finals. He's excited about going to the Clippers. It seems a bit odd for him to be with the Clippers instead of the Los Angeles Lakers, but we all know why, as I articulated, why he's not affiliated with the Los Angeles Lakers. His mentality is that the Clippers may be a couple of years away, tweak here, there, whatever the case may be. Very fond of Doc Rivers, very fond of Steve Ballmer. We'll see what happens with them. But to me, standing pat, we have seen that experiment has not worked with the Los Angeles Clippers. You have to make a move. And with a Skywalker, see, once upon a time, Blake Griffin was that Skywalker, jumping over Kia automobiles for all-star festivities. Well, it was over the hood, not the roof, but that's a different subject. The point that I'm trying to make is this. He was doing all of that. I'm sorry, when you talk about Lob City right now, you know the name that comes to my mind? DeAndre Jordan. It ain't Blake Griffin. The Skywalker is DeAndre Jordan. And so if you take out the element of Lob City, or even if you keep it, you can look at DeAndre Jordan and say that's good enough. Blake Griffin dribbling the ball, shooting jump shots, very rarely playing with his back to the basket, doesn't seem to have the quintessential ideal relationship with Chris Paul. They're not enemies or anything like that. I'm just saying you wish you saw a better relationship on the court between the two is all I'm trying to say. You have to go the way the league is playing right now, the way the Golden State Warriors are playing. The Paul Georges, the Jimmy Butlers, and the Carmelo Anthonys of the world are a better fit with this roster than Blake Griffin.
First of all, I have a big-time man crush on Jerry West, and I'm the type of guy, a media guy, that he must really dislike. I've dealt with him a little bit, but I just imagine, like, but I love this guy. I love how honest he is about himself with the media. His track record speaks for itself, both as a player, the logo, Mr. Clutch, won an MVP on the losing finals team. One of the greatest players who ever lived, one of the guys who really separated himself from the other great players even, and then probably the greatest executive in the history of the NBA. Amazing. I think the whole Clippers roster should be blown up, to tell you the truth. The reason I wouldn't were I Jerry West is because if LeBron wants to play in L.A., and he's always wanted to play with CP3, and you can get Carmelo Anthony without having to move Blake Griffin, then do what you got to do to get LeBron there. That frees up Blake Griffin as a tradable asset, and I agree with you. If you can land Paul George for Blake Griffin, that's what you got to do, because that's the most special player who seems to be available.
Here's the reversal of that. If you're Kevin Pritchard, the Larry Birds of the world, and others for the Indiana Pacers, and you know that you're losing Paul George because he's going to L.A. next summer, excuse me, then you know what you do? Blake Griffin is not a bad constellation prize.
Not at all.
For you in Indiana. So that's certainly something, even though Blake Griffin would rather go to Boston, rather go to a couple other places than Indiana, you just, or at least from what I'm hearing, you never know. The other thing to consider is this. Paul George, you know who's the other viable option for him? Cleveland. Here's why.
Sure.
It's with everyone knowing.
For a year, though,
listen,
right?
with everyone knowing he's going to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
He wants to be a Laker. There's really only one team that can afford to have him for just 1 year and not worry about it. and that's the Cleveland
he'd love
Cavaliers.
that.
And
Be
you
a
have-
contender
and that's the
for a
Cleveland
year. Why
Cavaliers.
not do that? It'd be
And that's
amazing.
the
Then you could
Cleveland
go play with
Cavaliers.
LeBron. and
That's
We've
how
also
I feel.
seen Kevin
together.
Love, when he's the focal point of a team's offense, even in the Western Conference, you can be a 500 team, maybe nip at the heels of some playoff teams. You can sell some tickets. He'll put up big numbers. I mean, that's also a very good consolation prize if you're Indiana. So absolutely, were I Jerry West, Blake Griffin,
The difference is, though,
the most talented of the young guys they have is the guy you actually have to trade.
The difference is Love is going from a championship squad to Indiana. That's a little bit harder than Blake Griffin, who's never even been in a conference finals.
But Love wouldn't
to
have
go
a
to.
choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Love
I know
doesn't,
that,
he'd have
but
to.
I'm just saying.
Call it the
Yeah.
Wild Wild West for a reason. But I don't know about your Knicks, gentlemen. That's another story.